Welcome to City League Sports, the show that gives some love to all the special people that make Columbus City League amazing. Former Northland Vikings Jude Adjei-Barimah is in the studio. Now check this out, listeners. You may not know the name, but when we get done, you're going to love the story. I'm your host, Dr. Vince Clarino. I am grateful to take you on this journey. Simply put, man, we got stories to tell. Jude, say hello to everybody here in the 614.
How y'all doing, Columbus? Thank you for having me, Doc. Thank you for having me.
Certainly. Hey, look, so, man, you know, I did my homework. Our producers did their homework. And so, we're digging through these crates, man, of special people that have done some unique things. And then, we come across Jude Adjei-Barimah, right? Like, we come across you, and it's like, look, man, what you've done in your body of work, post high school, post all these things, and who you are today sitting here is special, man. And I'm excited to let all of our listeners hear a part of your story. So I start everyone kind of the same way, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to start you the same way. We're going to go back. Mm-hmm. You're a Northland Viking grad.
Yep.
You graduate 2010?
2010, class of 2010.
Tell everybody what's going on 2010 at Northland, man. Just give everybody a snapshot, a picture of what's going on at Northland back then.
Absolutely. So, a Northland Viking, proud alum, you know what I mean? Pretty much a Northside, resident my entire life. So,
okay.
But around 2010 was really around the time that, things were kind of in terms of, being the student athlete that I was really trying to pursue. Kind of everything was really starting to the picture was becoming a little clear. Okay. I had made my mind up a few years before that football was really something I wanted to do. I didn't start playing until I was 12.
Let me dive in. You said I made my mind up, which I think is beautiful because what you just shared, and you didn't even notice how special that comment was. So if you made your mind up a couple years before that, you're speaking to a 14-year-old you.
Right.
Like to be 14 years old, man, and be able to have that level of decisiveness and being able to embody that's unique.
Well, let me tell you something though.
Yeah.
Where that comes from is I grew up playing soccer. Obviously, I didn't grow up in the States. I was born in Italy, moved here when I was 9 years old. So I grew up playing soccer, and you guys, anybody knew I was little. I was a pretty good soccer player. I really feel like with the World Cup going on, I could be playing right now type.
Yeah.
So obviously we moved to the States, and soccer isn't as popular at the time.
Right.
Early 2000s, you know what I mean? So we moved to the neighborhood, and everybody outside playing football.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, so if I want to integrate with the kids, you know what I'm saying, and be in my neighborhood, I got to learn how to play this game of football.
Certainly.
And I remember when I was 12 years old, I asked my dad, you know what I'm saying, if I could play football. And at the time, he thought I meant soccer, so he was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, run it.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't until then where shout out to the Linden Gators.
Okay, yes, indeed. Yeah. We give love here, man. Linden Gators
that was
get
my
love.
Organization that I started with in Little League, and they kind of gave me, the foundation of, how to hold the ball. Yeah. How to, run around and different things like that. And
the rules of the game.
The rules of the game. And I think...
which carry over in life. We're going to get to that. Rules of the game carry over in life.
Amazing. And... it was just also when I reflect growing up in that same environment, it wasn't really a choice because here's how I looked at it. Growing up, I never saw anybody who was doing kind of whether it was the streets or playing the hustle game or whatever it was, I never saw nobody that was doing that stuff at the level that I would want to do. They weren't living a life that I would want to live.
No doubt, certainly. Okay.
You know what I mean?
So that makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Cats that I thought were doing that with athletes. I turn on the TV and, they press conferences, they always dress nice, they buy their mama a house.
Right.
They come back, they get all the love. I'm like,
This is the direction to go.
And then I remember though, I always thought, to be honest, that I was a little bit better than I actually was, especially at that time.
We all think that, man. I thought that too, but we all think that when we're running around, right?
You know what I mean? So it was my high school coach at the time, Coach Kevin Tucson.
Tucson gets love here, man.
Coach Tucson, I remember ninth grade, he was like, after, he spent the year on JV or whatever, he's like, man, if you don't get faster or if you don't do something, it might not look good for you. Mm. And I mean, it came from a perspective of, I think he was challenging me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He saw something in you.
I took that as a challenge, and I think from that day on, I mean, I don't think I missed a day.
Nice.
Towards my craft.
Nice. Let me dive in and share this, man, because we talk about coaches a lot on the show. We've had coaches on the show. And so like a shout out to every coach who can find that magical ingredient. And it's different for every kid. So for every kid, every young person, the ingredients you got to tap into is different, right? You have your sport platform, but to challenge you in a way that didn't run you off. So I share this with coaches, you coaches that listen to the show. Quit running kids off. If you challenging a kid and you run them off, you've actually used the wrong ingredient.
Right.
Because the challenge is supposed to inspire you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so you said you didn't miss a day. Now I want to stay in this space. 2010, you're running around, you're playing football. And how just in general, how's life at Northland Vikings, man? Just for you, like you said, you're born in a different country. You come to the States. Just in general, man, how's life running around as a kid in Northland, man?
Life was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like we weren't necessarily known for being successful at football, but you know, I think what I did learn at Northland were the kind of like the lessons that Coach Toussaint was instilling in us, that we knew that it was kind of like a mentorship that he was giving us. He was like a father figure for most of us, you know what I mean? So the discipline, all the things that we were learning, like we were making a ton of mistakes. A lot of us was knuckleheads, but...
Yeah, well, you were kids, you know what I mean? And that's part of growth, right? Like, I mean, if somebody, you know, let me say this, and I kind of jokingly say this and share this with people, man, but if my generation, and me specifically, if it was social media and you could stick a camera around and be able to record every little thing I did, man, man, I'd be in trouble, man. You know, because as a kid, you're supposed to be during that learning stage of your life. Mistakes are a part of the process, and so to have someone caring, and that's why I encourage young people to get involved with their school, get involved with athletics, because it adds a different adult in your life that's going to help guide you and share, you know what I mean? Like share your journey, share your path, and say, hey, here's where we can kind of go. So you got a Coach Toussaint in your life, you got football in your life, you make an early decision to say, hey, football is going to be my thing. So what were some of the things that you were doing then? Preparation-wise, high school,
so
like how did you know, he said you need to work on your speed, whatever, and I'm sure there were some things you had to do on your own. For
sure. So for me, it was like the season ended, you know, on Friday. You know, I was back in the weight room on Monday.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Say that again for everybody.
If the season ended on Friday, I was back in the weight room on Monday.
Come on, young people.
And then when track started, even when we were running in the hallways, I was showing up to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When track started in the outdoors, I was showing up to that. I literally just structured my life around what I wanted to do most. You know what I'm saying? Which for me was football, man. It was a little bit of an obsession. I could truly say that.
Yeah.
And at that time,
healthy obsessions are good.
Yeah. But we had a pretty good team, and I want to say that we had a solid nucleus. You know what I'm saying? Like the company I kept around me a lot of times. We were aligned in the same path that we were going to.
Nice.
Guys like Quentin Jones, guys like Ray Ballard. I mean, I could go on. Like, you know, we wanted to take that thing to the next level. The program in itself and trying to win. And I wish we would have won more games. I honestly, I also wish that I would have brought a lot more guys along with that journey of those habits, you know what I'm saying? But I also learned that work ethic is very personal. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed it is.
So
I was just having that conversation with a buddy before we came in here. We were on the phone, and I was sharing about work ethic. I didn't mean to dive in, but when you said work ethic, man, it speaks volumes. Like the more layers we keep peeling off here, I'm realizing how special of a guy you are, man. And you know, to have that level of focus and the things that you can share right now as you reflect back is an important part of your journey. You know, here's what sports has taught me from a competition standpoint, though. You shared about winning more, right? At the end of every season, for every team, for every sport, only one team is happy.
Right.
Because really, if you don't win it all,
you're not happy. You're not disappointed.
Happy, right? Because even if you make it all the way to whatever championship, we're going to talk NFL, we're talking football. If you make it to the Super Bowl, Well, if you lose,
Yeah.
you ain't happy at the end of the game. You're
Right.
like, dang, what could have we done differently to win, right?
Yeah.
So only one team make the playoffs.
And
When
win
you
the whole
lose
thing.
in the playoffs, you're not happy.
Yeah.
So only that one team that makes it to the end that gets a chance is actually happy from a competitive standpoint.
Very much
But
so.
there are so many other areas of happiness
Yep.
that you can have that don't include holding the trophy at the end of the season, right? There are so many, and I think what gets caught up oftentimes in sports is that we get so caught up in who's holding the trophy at the end. And the trophy is an important part of it, don't get me wrong, right?
Yeah.
But if you can learn to embrace the other lessons and the other experiences that don't come along with the trophy,
Yeah.
you can find this great place in sports.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I seen a quote actually this morning that said, Coach, if at the end of the season, it doesn't matter what your record was, if you only developed your players as football players and not as young men, you had a losing record.
There you go. You see what I'm
And
saying?
I think that's what Coach Toussaint, maybe we didn't win the city, go state and all of that, but
Right.
the young men that came through at that time when I was there,
Yeah.
we all became better men
Nice.
because we played football at Northland. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. That speaks volumes. Like,
Some
Coach,
people didn't get it right away. You know what I
doubt.
mean? Some people, it took a couple years and they came back and realized like, man, Coach, you was right. Like,
Mm-hmm.
man, this how I should have handled it or this and that. So I think that was the biggest takeaway from that time
Yeah.
is my development through the game of football as a young man.
do you have a moment out there on the field that you remember, man, that's a special place for you? Do you have a moment? Does something come back for you that was an exciting time for you?
Man, let me think. We had a lot of great memories. I feel like I always feel like we came up a little short though in them games
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, really
Yeah.
kind of mattered.
Yeah.
But I think that was like the biggest lesson from that time as well. I remember Weststone, my senior year. We got one more game. We're able to go 6-4 or 7-3 and get a chance to go in the playoffs
Yeah.
at the time.
Yep.
And I remember I was a kicker at the time too. So
Okay,
I
so
played
you did a little bit of
corner receiver. I
everything.
did a little bit of everything. So
Nice.
we going down there and we're about to score, but we only need 3. 3 can, win us the game.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, okay, they get close enough. I know I can make this kick.
Yeah,
I'm a former
yeah.
soccer player.
Right.
And at the time, quarterback, Trey, shout out to Trey, definitely not his fault at all, but we throw a pick
Okay.
on senior night.
Yeah.
And that's how we went out. And it kind of, it left a sour taste, but it just showed me exactly what can happen in life is like, we gave it our all. You know what I'm saying? You
100%.
can do your absolute best
Yeah.
and the end result still not
What
turn out what you want it to be.
Right.
But what is your attitude and what is your response going to be
Certainly.
afterwards?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a moment because I felt like, dang, like we lost the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? We could have been sluggish. But for me, it was like afterwards, it was like I had given myself something next to look forward to. So now I was using the motivation of me coming up short. I was like, I want to go to college and I want to go win a championship.
I'm glad you said that, right? Because that's exactly where we're going. So now you graduate 2010, and then you look up and now you in Northwest Ohio, you at BG, you at
Yep.
Bowling Green. Shout out to the Falcons.
Shout out to the Falcons,
Right.
man.
So now like give us a quick how you arrived there.
Yep.
And give us a part of that experience because I don't want to lose time on all the special things that you have to share.
Absolutely.
But you leave. So how do you end up in BG?
Yeah, so received a scholarship my senior year in the summer, before my senior year. And I committed before my senior year, so didn't really want any distractions. So got to BG, signed in February, exciting time for the family. Everybody had the ceremony at Northland. It was great.
Yeah.
One of the most memorable times actually, because it was really something I really set out that I said, I'm going D1.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So get to Bowling Green though, culture shock. I mean, complete culture shock, man. Like, I thought I was a hard worker, you know what I mean? But I was only probably one of the hardest workers on my own team.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I also remember very vividly that I wanted to go up there early for the summer because I wanted to be ready because I wanted to play as a freshman.
Okay.
And at the time, they had, a certain
You set some strong goals for yourself, man, as a young dude, man.
I'm shooting for the moon.
Yeah,
man.
I love it. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So-
okay.
I wanted to play as a freshman. I wanted to, get in as a freshman. So me...
And that's before that was even popular to do.
Right.
For our listeners who don't understand high school and those things, right? It's not normal for a freshman graduating from high school to want to get to their university early. It wasn't normal then. It's kind of normal now, right?
Yeah.
But back then in 2010, it was not normal for a young person to say, how can I get up here early and get to be with the team?
Yep.
And a lot of people don't understand, like in football, for you listeners out there at the collegiate level, football doesn't begin in September or whenever you turn on your television, folks. It begins actually in the spring the year before and then in the summer. So when you go to an empty campus, there's football players on that campus all running around in June, July, and August, right? So go ahead, G. So you get up there
Absolutely.
early, and then you said culture shock.
Culture shock, man. I consider myself a hard worker, a pretty disciplined guy.
Yeah.
But it took a whole different level when I first got up there to really understand what it took at that level.
100%.
It went from, football is fun, football is what I want to do, to now these coaches, football is their livelihood.
Yes, it is.
You know what I mean? They depend on me to make decisions now as a 17-year-old that are going to affect the success of the team or not. And, when it came to waking up early, the workouts were, gruesome.
Yeah.
The schedule of going to class, I had to adjust to all of that.
Certainly.
You know what I mean? And because of that, I redshirted.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I really don't think that I was mature enough looking back now.
Yeah.
To be able to handle everything that it came with being a freshman, coming from my environment straight to a D1 school, and I remember after the first workout there, I went up there myself for the summer.
Okay.
They had a certain amount of kids that they wanted to go to summer school, and I was like, I'm not gonna get behind the 8-ball.
Right.
I'm just gonna go up there myself. I took my little graduation money and I went up there.
Yeah.
I shacked up with one of the players that were already in the team on my visit, so I was like, I'm good. And after the first workout, I called my dad and I was like, man, I don't know if this is really, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was
100%.
hard. They almost ran me off the field.
Right. And you know what? That's a lot of people, because I don't care how great of a high school program you have, whether you out here winning state championships every year, and I don't care what part of the country you're in, nothing prepares you for it, because like what you squeeze into a little bit of time in high school is nothing like what the expectation is in college. That your experience that you just shared, I remember, when I got to school, it was almost like identical. And I'm sitting there going like, man, like we waking up, and I'm a wake up early guy, right? So I've been waking up early my whole life. I share a little tip here. I'll sneak this in. I was a young dude, man. I had a paper route for 6 years. A lot of people don't know that. So I was getting up 4 a.m.
early
for a long time, delivering newspapers, coming home, getting ready, going to school.
Wow.
And so getting up wasn't the hard part for me, but it was what all went into it. And then like you shared, man, so it's a completely different monster that you experience. But you found your way though, right?
Yeah,
so you're there, you do all these things, and you have this driven energy inside of you. And then so share with me about being at BG. Share with our listeners.
Absolutely.
You're at BG, man. You got this experience in front of you.
Yeah, first year
how was that, man?
redshirt.
Give us that snapshot.
Absolutely. So first year, like I said, I redshirted. I had to mature. I had to learn, both mentally, physically, everything. Spent that year in the weight room. And I was really glad because I went up there with
weight room is not a punishment, people.
No, not at all.
It is not like you young people out there, coaches. You're not punishing people by going to the weight room. It's a part of playing athletics.
Yes.
Because getting your body in the right shape and having the right strength is important. I'm sorry. So you lived in the weight room.
Right. So we lived in the weight room, and then I was up there with another Columbus guy as well, Rylan Ward. Played for Brookhaven at the time, so there was familiarity with a few guys, and I think at that time the program was at a point where it was kind of like rebuilding a little bit. They had a lot of older guys, so they decided to really redshirt a lot of the younger class.
Okay.
So we really got to build like a camaraderie with each other, and that's when I really learned how to be like a teammate, how to be like part of like a program, how to buy in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And our coaching staff at the time really did a good job, I think, of establishing an identity and a culture there that took football very serious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We started out 2-10 our freshman year, freshman year, but then you could see that the program was slowly starting to build. 5-7 the second year, you know what I mean? And now as a redshirt freshman, I got to play in all the 14 games. Carve a little role for myself as a nickel back. So that was very important for me to like kind of like, see all the work kind of like now catching up. And but the obsession still continued, man.
Nice.
You know what I mean? The off seasons, even on Saturdays and Sundays when we wouldn't have football stuff, there would be 5 or 6 guys that were really kind of committed to taking that thing to the next level. So fast forward, 2012, we go to our first bowl game. So now we go from 2-10. We turn around in 2 years, we're in a bowl game. 2012 was probably my best season. I was second in the conferences in interceptions.
Okay.
And I wasn't even a starter.
Give me that.
You know what I'm saying? So not just still carving out a role for myself. You know what I mean? I think what speaks volume is at the time, back then, like, you didn't start. It wasn't that easy to just get in the transfer portal and just go find.
That's right. Yeah, like I ain't happy here. I'm out of here.
I'm going to just leave.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? The thoughts were there for sure, but I think I learned more in staying and persevering through that time, you know what I mean? And trying to have success where I felt like, you know, my opportunity was kind of marginalized a little bit. And I feel a lot of kids go through that, especially when they trying to pursue the journey of, you know, playing such a competitive sport. Everybody want to make it to the NFL. Everybody want to go D1.
Yeah.
So I kind of was navigating through that. At the same time, though, school, I'm going to be honest, is where in college is when I became a better student.
Nice. Okay.
You know, the structure that was there with the study hall and the tutors and everything.
The services that they just wrapped around you to help you be successful, man. Like those things are important, especially. And I share this, and I won't get into like the politics and this and that and whatever. But what universities ask of student athletes, especially in football and basketball. Yeah. And I'm not saying the others don't get high demand requests.
You're right.
But schools should wrap around those services around you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? For all the things that you're asked to do. You know, I remember waking up at 5 a.m. going to practice and looking around and it was crickets out there. Like we the only ones. We walking down there to the gym. I'm like, ain't nobody else up at 5 a.m. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, and you shared about transfer portal and a lot of what's evolved in athletics in the collegiate world.
Yeah.
But one of the things that and I actually have this written in my notes, man. You've now used the word structure 4 times. And I even got structure written here in my notes because I was watching a different interview about you, man, and you had talked about structure. Yeah. And I love it because I'm that same way, man. I understand structure and I love routine in life and those things. And I'm not saying you don't go out and be adventurous and have fun, but I think structure helps you find this level of success, right?
Absolutely.
But you also talked about like resilience.
Right.
And you've shown a level of resilience that I think many people can't even come close to, right? Yeah. Like I mean, first off, I don't know that most kids who are born in the States can even imagine what it would be like for your family to pick you up and move across the world. Right. So let's just start there, right? So that, and I'm always impressed by that because I go, wow, like you show up here and then you just got to figure it out. It's not a vacation. No. You're not going back someplace. Right. You know what I mean? Like this is now home. Yeah. And so I love that energy of resilience, right? Yes. And so you go through this time period. You're at BG. You have this moment, but then like how do you end up in the NFL?
Yeah. I was chasing the dream still, man.
Hey, man, I think my notes and your responses reflect. I said chasing football, man. So go ahead. You were because I was going to say that, and I want to hear you share. You were chasing the dream. So tell me about that.
I was chasing the dream. I mean, at no point in the journey did everything, you know, kind of just look like a clear path. You know what I mean? So I kind of just was. And I'm going to use this again. I was rooted in the work that it took to get there more than I was rooted in actually getting there. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah, so if they told us like, you know, you got to go talk to somebody, you got to lift these many weights, whatever what the prerequisites were to give myself an opportunity, that's what I was doing at the time. You know what I mean? And that's all I really thought about. And for me, like the structure thing was, the structure kind of, you know, builds consistency.
Certainly it does.
And then the consistency. And
success.
Consistency is going to breed that excellence.
Yeah.
And that's what we were chasing. And I always kept a company around me that was kind of wanted to go to the NFL too. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I just always stayed on that path. Yeah. And I think that's what kind of helped me out a lot as, you know, 2012, 2013, we win the MAC championship. So now I'm a MAC champion. Yeah. But believe it or not, I'm still not a starter. Okay. So how could I look at really myself and be like, oh yeah, I'm still gonna go to the league. I've been in college now 3-4 years. Yeah. I'm not starting. I got statistics, you know what I'm saying? I'm playing D1, but you look at cats that go to the NFL, they're usually like the best player on our college team. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I never doubted my skill set. Okay. And I knew that the way I was gonna give myself an edge, and the reason why I never doubted my skill set is because I put in the work. Right, 100%. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I knew that I was working and I knew that I would be ready. Right. But I also realized that the athletic edge wasn't going to be enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I needed to become a more cerebral football player. I needed to know the game in and out. I needed to know other positions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted to know the game as much as my coach knew it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Because I needed something that was going to set me apart.
Right.
Size wasn't going to do it.
Right, yeah.
Speed necessarily wasn't going to do it either.
Right.
So I knew that if I could bring
cold dude,
the
man.
value, you know what I'm saying?
Cold dude, man.
That was going to make me successful. So I think,
Yeah.
you know, my senior year, I had a fifth-year senior now after we won the MAC championship.
Yep.
Our coaches left. And we had a new coach come in, Coach Babers.
Success creates opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah, so that coaching staff got another opportunity.
They did.
I get it.
And, you know, new coach come in, Coach Babers. And mind you, you know, I said the staff before, they were really big on structure, discipline, and kind of like, and not to say that Coach Babers wasn't, but when Coach Babers came in, it was a little bit more lax now.
Different style.
It was a different style, and I was a senior, and now it was my turn. I finally get to be a starter.
Right.
And, man, I was locked in.
Yeah.
I was locked in. I was like, man, it's go time now. I got a year to make everything I want happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the opportunity I want, and now I have it. So I remember he kind of spoke some life to me and to me as well, because the staff before, you know, they recruited me. They thought I was a good player, but I doubt that they felt like I was, you know, NFL.
Right.
But Coach Babers, he really gave me that vote of confidence going into my senior year. Like,
Certainly.
I've been around NFL guys, and you go out here and do what you're supposed to do this year,
You can find a way.
you'll get a shot.
Yeah, you know, the beauty of, and that's what I love about coaches, right? The beauty of a coach, they can breathe life into your experiences. And look, so we got to get to a special place here, because they're kind of giving us a time. I told you 30 minutes go by fast,
no doubt,
right?
for sure.
And so I want you to share with everyone here, share with our listeners, like, just you know, you make it. You find a way, and we got to like shorten that part of it. While that's an important part of your journey.
Yep.
You were chasing the NFL, and I know you had these great football experiences. You go from BG, senior, new coaches, and then what I kind of like, I read and heard you share, like, you know, man, you just went and dedicated some time down in Florida where there was some opportunities. And then you end up, and just give us a quick snapshot, right?
Absolutely.
Like you like, give us a quick snapshot of what it was like playing in the league.
Yep.
Now you get a chance to look back, and so like share this piece for everyone,
For
because
sure.
I think this is the part that I think will help kind of share with us, not practice, because I want to give a little bit of
atmosphere.
like, share with us driving in.
Absolutely.
It's the first
game day.
It's game day. You in your car.
Yeah.
You driving to the freaking stadium.
Yeah.
Right. You're driving to this big stadium, and you're on an NFL roster.
Right.
Adjei-Barimah on the back of your jersey.
Yeah.
Share what that feeling is saying to you.
It's surreal, man. That's
Okay.
all I could really say. You dream about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it
I'm
was
getting
surreal.
goosebumps, man, just thinking about it for
It
you.
was
Yeah.
surreal, you know, because I literally went from the couch in the summer to middle of October starting the game against the New York Giants.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So it was like walking in, the surreal. You got cameras, you got kids, you signing autographs.
Certainly.
You know what I mean? And you know, like, you amongst the best in the world.
Yeah.
You about to go out there and perform.
Certainly.
Something that you love to do, something that I was blessed and you know, the opportunity to do. And it was just, you know, you watch Eli Manning growing up and
Right. Here he is.
you got to do
Get it.
something.
Get that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was that experience there. I'll never be able to, like, I got to live out my dream, man.
Certainly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, let me share with you real quick, because I don't know where you're going. But in life, we continue to have new dreams.
yeah,
And even though we get these opportunities that are public, because playing professional sports is public,
Right.
But there are millions of people doing a lot of special stuff that don't end up on the news or don't have, you know, that right. And so, so I say keep dreaming,
yeah,
right. You know what I mean? I'm this old dude sitting across from you, man, bunch of grays in my hair, right? But I think I feel young. Some days I feel young, some days I don't, right? But I continue to dream, right?
Yeah.
And so so for you, man, you're in this moment. It's surreal. You're playing, and then just overall, as you reflect back on it, what does it tell you? What does share a comment to 24, 25-year-old Jude? Like looking back on that, man. And that's not that long ago for you.
No, that's not. I'm 30 now, so it's not that long. But reflecting now is honestly the only thing I would tell myself, you were right.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
certainly. Everything paid off.
When you put, the work and you put everything behind something that you love to do, and I always did it with a pure heart, nice. Pure intent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think by the grace of God, because there was a lot of God involved, man.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So by the grace of God, being able to achieve that, it just showed me that, like, it's the work, it's the journey that matters. Like, everything that I did, the habits, that's what kind of made it so satisfying. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if I would have felt the same about the entire platform when I got to the NFL if I didn't take the path that I did.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The path that I took made me appreciate it for what it was. And that's just what I would, kind of tell my old self or even tell a young person coming up.
Right.
Like, no one man's journey is the same.
Love it. Hey, let me share this also, because I would be remiss if I don't get this in. So as I'm doing my homework on you, right? I see you in some photos. You like this fly dude, man. Like you know what I mean? You got this fashion. You got this fashion itch going on, man, that we didn't get a chance to talk about because we're talking sports, man. But you got this love of fashion from what I saw, man. And so give us a little bit of that, man. Like, is there a space in your world where, like I think you just understand being fly. Like, you know what I mean? Is there a space in your world for that?
I think that the way you appear to people affords you a lot more opportunities than people think.
Okay.
Sometimes you'll get an opportunity just by the way you appear to speak.
Love it.
Rather than, not looking like you want people to receive you. So I take very much pride in my image and how I present myself, because I don't know what type of opportunity that's going to afford me.
Yeah.
And if it's the right opportunity, I plan on taking advantage of it.
Certainly.
Presentation is everything.
I love it, man. Hey, before we get out of here, share some of the important people in your life that are a part of your journey.
For sure.
I share all the time on the show, and I'm not changing that. I share all the time that, our support team, and you've spoken a lot about surrounding yourself with the right people. So give some of those folks some love. That has been a special part of your journey.
Absolutely. I got to start with my family, my mom and dad and my brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I got to move it on to my community. Like, there's a big Ghanaian community here in Columbus, Ohio, and they've always supported me. They've always cheered me on. And I kind of was raised by that village, pretty much. And then I got a bunch of guys like Quentin Jones. I mean, him and I started with this journey of dream of playing Division I football, and at the time, he kind of took me under his wing, man. He was my peer, but I kind of a ton of respect for him and my teammates I play with, for sure. But Coach Tucson for being that I had. My dad was in my life, but Coach Tucson also played a huge influence as a father figure,
and he could give you a different perspective because, like you said, while I've always been impressed with the resilience of young people, kids who come over from another country. I'm equally as impressed with the families and the adults, right? Because you come over and you say, hey, I got to figure out how to navigate this landscape in a new place. And you have to trust in people that you normally would never have had to trust in, right? And so kudos to Coach Tucson,
the entire staff.
Who's able to embrace and wrap around you to support your, your journey. And I get it, man. So like you said, you've had a unique run. Folks, I shared with you at the beginning. I said, y'all may not know this guy's name, man, but after we get going here, you're gonna love his story, man. Your story is a beautiful space for us.
Appreciate it.
It's a beautiful space for Columbus City Schools. I am appreciative. Our team here is appreciative that you came some time and gave us some time to come in here, sit down with us.
Absolutely. And I just want to say this, give flowers to you as well for creating this platform. I think I told you, a little bit about how much pride I had about being from the Columbus City Schools. And I feel like this platform is restoring that pride. We need to be able to honor the past so we could create the future. You know what I mean? So this is definitely a form of it. And I appreciate what you're doing. And I'm glad that you're having me on this show to be able to share a little bit of my light.
Well, and let me share, because I got to spread the love around, right? Like everyone can't see, and I share this in multiple shows. We got a magical team here. So you see them and you got a chance to meet them. Like they make the show special. I'm the lucky one that just gets to sit here, man, and chop it up with special people like you. Something you just shared though, and I love for our listeners to hear this. I encourage everyone to take some time, sit down with people and share your memories, because like we feed ourselves physically, food and beverage and all those things, water, right, to make our body work. But sharing your warm memories is how you feed your soul.
Exactly.
And you can't go through life not feeding your soul. So you have to take those moments, right? Whether it's a holiday, family getting together, whatever it may be. Even if you just sit down next to a mom, a sibling, a friend, a buddy, you look at an old picture. It brings back an old memory.
Yep.
Having a conversation about Northland High School 2010, right? These warm memories feed our soul. You've fed my soul here today. I hope our listeners felt this same energy. I gotta read an outro because we gotta get out of here. You being here with us though has been amazing. Like I said, I love your story, man. Love it. Love that I got a chance to sit down with you. Let me read the outro. We're gonna get out of here. Listeners, everyone, a lot of fun here today. Thank you for listening. Much in love and respect to you, Jude. Be sure to catch all future episodes of the show on radio, WCBE 90.5 FM. Also catch us on Spotify, Apple, or the platform you prefer to listen to your favorite podcast. Follow us on Instagram at City League Sports 614. Till next time, I'm your host, Dr. Vince Clarno. This is City League Sports.